So I unfriended like half of my friends, and this guy like just took so much offense to it, and he was just like, he got stuck into me. First thing I was thinking is like, why are you immediately aware that I've unfriended you? Like, are you been stalking me? Like, do you check every day? Like, what is this? And he sent me a message like, I thought we were friends, like real like passive aggressive, like obviously this, like I don't mean anything to you, something like that, I don't know. And I was just like, didn't reply to it, because like, why would you? Like, why would you waste your energy with some passive aggressive person that like has very little connection to you? And then later in the day, he was like, well, you can get fucked then, and like just like full ripped into me. And he's like, obviously everything that I thought about you is wrong. And I just replied like, obviously what my feelings about who you are is right, because like I felt like you were being passive aggressive and a waste of my time. And I just like, I didn't say that last bit, I just said, well, obviously what I thought about you was correct, and I blocked him. But it's like, that's an example of like people falling out of alignment with you, and that's cool. Like, he's gone now, hopefully. I've had a history of like people getting the shits with me and making it their mission to make my life hell, like internet stalkers and stuff. But it's ridiculous. Like, I'm not putting up with that anymore. I'm just gonna live my life and be myself, and I don't care who it pisses off. That's my declaration for today. And I don't care if you feel entitled to my time for whatever reason. Like, I don't get that. Like, that's so far out of my alignment. I feel like that's out of everybody's alignment. The way that dude spoke to me today, I wouldn't speak to anybody that way ever, and I think that nobody should. Like, that's how far just out of my alignment it was. Like, just, well, you can get fucked then for not replying to my message. Like, he's the center of the universe. Who is that? Like, who is that person? That is ridiculous. Sorry, dude, if like you're stalking right now. Bet you're a bit surprised, but I doubt he's watching. And I feel a bit silly for even bringing attention to that, but that's I'm weak right now. My defenses are down. I really need to chill out and like reconnect. And that's what comes through when I'm approaching burnout. Like, little things like that affect me, and that contributes to the anxiety stuff as well. Like, when somebody's like, it doesn't mean shit, right? Like, that somebody's gone like, oh, obviously, like, you're not who we think you are, like, and like has a crack at you like that. Like, yeah, you're pretending to be like this person who cares about people, but you can't even reply to my message. That affects you, whether like you want it to or not. It's like, man, like, that fucked my day. If I'm being completely honest, that fucked my whole day. Receiving like such a like passive aggressive message at first, and then a full-on attack from somebody who's like supposedly upset that I'm not paying attention to them. Like, how does you think that's gonna like work? So yeah, it affected me, and I'm admitting it, and I'm owning it. And I wish that I was like so enlightened that I could just transcend that, but it affected me. And yeah, it's because I had all this other anxiety and stuff going on, and I haven't taken enough time for myself and created enough space for myself to integrate all of the incredible experiences that I've had recently. And yeah, I just want to like come back down to earth for a minute and just be and feel and be grateful for everything and just love it. But there's a lot of triggering elements at the moment, and I'm working through it. But I'm not as well. That's why I need some space, because I've been just like ignoring everything that's a problem, and like putting all of my awareness where it's gonna be nice and good. But there's definitely a flaw to that plan, because the shit that I'm not putting awareness into is still a part of my life until I make a conclusive decision. Like, my relationship's heavy right now, but it's still my relationship, so I can't just ignore it. Like, so yeah, that's a realization. Got to put a little bit more. I do put awareness into it though. And a part of my thing lately has been like, hasn't mattered how much awareness I put into my relationship. It seems that it hasn't really had an effect, like positive or negative. It's just been like, Amy's on a journey right now, and it's got nothing to do with me. And so there's a little bit of that, but also like maybe I could do better if I just sat with it for a bit and figured something out. I don't know, man. It's like, this is why you need to take time out and like reassess and just really sit with all your shit and not just keep going and just like fucking, it'll figure itself out. Like every now and then you got to check back in and just like look at the whole big picture, all of the puzzle pieces, and just be like, okay, are we any closer to figuring this thing out, or like what's going on? Like let's assess. So that's what I did a lot of today, I suppose. Like I did a lot of meditation, did a lot of like reconnecting, but I need to do heaps more. Like it's not something I can just have a one meditation session for or contemplate for an hour. It's like I need some proper time now, I feel. I got to create a little bit of space. And I can, because I just did all this hectic shit. Like I did so much in such a short period of time. So it's fine. And I don't have to be anxious about what shows up next in business or like with clients and stuff, because I'm good. Like I did a bunch of cool stuff. I hope that's true. It feels true. But then there's like, yeah, my voice is not the only voice in my head. That's one of the problems on this journey. Like when you're trying to create a life for yourself that's really unconventional, if you want to be like a bit of an entrepreneur and like create your own value and create your own worth and like make money doing weird shit, like everybody's like, there's so many other voices that are going to be telling you, have a plan B, like do something else and all that stuff, like I alluded to yesterday while I was studying. And those voices are getting quieter and quieter as like I'm actually moving into a place where they can see their precious results, which don't show up for ages. If you seriously want to create an extraordinary life for yourself, you've got to go through a period where everything is just chaos and it seems like nothing's working. It might even seem like you're going backwards. I feel like I've always been moving forwards, but it's been like at a snail's pace. But like I played it really safe, and I didn't like borrow a heap of money or get a credit card or do anything like that, because I've always been terrified of being in debt. But I could have definitely done stuff like that and felt like I was even going backwards and like freaking out and like, oh, I'm glad that that's not how I did it. Although I probably would have learned faster because of the extra pressure. But this has been plenty of pressure. Just the pressure from like family and friends to like get results, like, ugh. Just let me grow myself. Just let me practice and develop and be. There's no rush. And I promise like it'll all pay off. Like I can see it. It's just some people, if you've never stepped into that space, you probably can't see how it's possible that it's all going to lead somewhere, because nobody else can see what's inside of you. They just see like, I was saying to my friend today, like it sucks because people just see me as like, I don't know, I can't remember what I said. So it's probably not, it probably needs to be paraphrased for some reason. But it's like, people see me as like, just an unemployed loser, basically, is like what anybody sees who's like outside of the equation. And that's been a big pressure on the relationship side of things as well. But I'm far from that. Like, I'm doing shit and I'm even making money, but like, from the outside looking in, it's just like I'm always chilling on the beach and like doing these video journals, and like, it doesn't seem like I'm producing any kind of like conventional, traditional value. And even my dad has, he struggled with accepting this, but he's never been like, oh, you shouldn't do that. He's been supportive. But he's like openly said, like, I just don't fucking get it, man. Like, I don't get it. I don't know how what you're doing is a thing. Like, and he said, like, because I come from like the old days where like you do a job and you get paid for it, and that's that. Like, you've got to have a job. And like, it's taken me a long time to accept that maybe you don't have to. Maybe there is another way. And that's been really interesting as well. And it's been really helpful that my dad has been supportive, and he's even helped me in like recent times with like business stuff and like just like tax stuff and like that shit that's like alien to me. He's like we've had long walks on the beach where he's like, well, the reason that that's not working is probably because of this. And even though he works in like fruit and veg and runs a transport business, like it's amazing like how much he's been able to help me understand how to do this, like just like through talking about just how basically money works and how tax works and how business works. And he like imagines himself as like a client of mine and says like, well, if I was hiring a video guy, like I'd probably want this to happen. And it's like we have those kinds of discussions and it gives me insights. That's awesome. I wish that everybody was like that. I wish like all of the people in my life, rather than just constantly shitting all over me, were like, let's talk about it. Let's have a think about it. Let's figure it out. I don't know what the fuck you're doing, and looks like you're also trying to figure that out a little bit yourself, but like maybe two heads are better than one. Like maybe we can do a little bit of that action. And that's another thing that I'm doing now. I've got, there's a little bit of a collective forming. And even like it's become a conscious thing. It was subconscious. And I was like doing like video calls and voice calls with all these people that are on similar journeys. But this morning I had like a 90-minute call with my brand strategist. And we were just like bouncing back and forth, like supercharging each other, and just like, it was supposed to be about the website, but we ended up going into all these different areas of life and like how we can like be better for our clients and like how we can generate more value and how we can make more money and like all that kind of thing. So that's happening. So I'm creating that for myself. That like it started with my dad, like just two heads are better than one. And now I'm like, and I've been encouraged by it to do it a lot from all these coaches and everybody that I'm hanging with and making content for. They're like, you can't do it alone. They just keep stressing that. And now just from one 90-minute call with somebody else who's playing the same game, I can see that. It's like, if you want to do hectic shit and you want to stay sane, you're going to need a little bit of support. So like the video, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm going to see you tomorrow.